everybody that's online. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. At the moment, what you're seeing is the landing page. As you open it up, this is prior to login. We've moved a few stuff prior to login. Just to run you through what's currently prior to login is this is what we call that scrolling image over there, which is force blue at the moment. That's a headline image. Basically, it's gonna then link to a specific URL. So we've got the ability to create those headline images and link to various specific stuff we want to highlight, be it recreational diving, technical diving, force blue. It's a locator. At the moment, I'll show you as soon as it comes up, but basically those red ones you will now see is various dive centers or affiliates. So we're also going to differentiate between the service centers. We're going to give them a different icon. Guys, the picture does actually come in there to the left as well. Again, just because this is the test server, we don't have all the pictures on the test server. You can click through then obviously details. Again, the logo would be there on top. Again, it's not on the test server. You can basically then just click on there. It will launch a phone call, email, the website, or you can basically, which is the coolest feature, you can actually get directions to that specific service center from, service center, affiliate, or dive professional directly from the app.
I'll just let everybody know that a lot of the pictures in here are all placeholders for right now. And I'm inviting you to send me your pictures. If we can get them incorporated and use them, we're going to be changing them on a semi-regular basis. So by all means, please send some photos.
Under that would be the various events. That will also be location based once you log into a location, and once it pinpoints and triangulates the location. That lists the 5 most recent upcoming events in your area. We've got the quick link section in terms of the events, news, and then consumer protection as well. Events, we just click through to, again, a listing of all the events, which will give you the ability to basically filter that by a specific region. News is all the news. Links, you can then obviously open up each specific news section there as well.
And that's current and live. For instance, one of those ones that were just on the news were just literally put on the site yesterday.
Yeah, so this basically feeds from sources. So I just want to go back. Also, again, just showing you the headline images. So Green Diver picture would then obviously link to Green Diver. NAUI TV, it lists the 5 most recent uploads into NAUI TV. We are going to make this at a stage. I've been talking with Bill, basically regionalized as well. So yeah, if there's more regional topics, we will do that as well. There's a login that was there previously as well. Create an account, contact NAUI, which lists all the various contacts for all the various service centers. You can also now send feedback on the app. You've got specific feedback. And this is all prior to logging into the actual app. Okay, moving to logging in. Also, it will work with both your passcode, your finger ID, as well as facial ID as well. Just also, when you open up the app the first time, just important for the guys to note, it will now check for your version, ensure that you're on the current version, force you to the current version, as well as bring up special messages. So if it would happen to, I'm not going to share all of them with you because it's kind of meant to be a surprise, but if it were happen to be your birthday, you might get a happy birthday from NAUI message. Once logged in, basically you'll see there's now the options is a little bit more. Just going to go to consumer protection, which was also available basically prior to login. Here you can now see, as per the website, any people that has been suspended, membership revoked, or are misrepresenting themselves as NAUI instructor. Okay, that was the last one basically that was prior to login. We are now logged in. Okay, going on to normal homepage, which we've just been scrolling on. If you go to the dashboard, which will clean up this a little bit more as well, just make it a little bit more pretty and bring the images in. The dive logs would obviously link to the number of dives that you've actually logged in the app. Obviously, we can't read it from your physical paper logbook.
I have a great question with regards to the NAUI dive log, and with regards to data upload. Will there be an option now or in the future for people to upload information into that dive log?
We're definitely looking at uploading. We've already started looking into that. It won't be available right now. The biggest thing is so there's there's 1 or 2 computers we've already looked at. Obviously, if it's got Bluetooth, it's very easy to do it directly into the app. Well, it's relatively easier, let's call it that. For the ones that don't have Bluetooth, we're looking at something like a CSV file and a web page, which, again, it's Chris's call, but I would imagine it would be hosted somewhere in Core where you can just upload a CSV file that pulls it into the app. Certifications will be a listing of your certifications, and the awards would be, this is currently linked to the awards, but this will be your trophy case, basically bringing up your digital badges as you complete. It also lists your last certification, as well as a recommendation on the next course you can then do. Now, there's a rule set we can build. It can also bring up more than one course, should you. So, typical example, if you've just finished open water scuba diver, you might get a recommendation for nitrox as well as advanced. Again, if you click on intermediate free diver, the recommended course, as per the S&P, it brings up an overview of the qualifications as well as the prerequisites down at the bottom in terms of what the prerequisites for that course is. With the general idea, at a stage, if we get people to load various courses, we would then give them a recommendation as to what the next event is for that specific course. Down at the bottom is a graph, which again we'll still play with, that you can see in terms of certifications, in terms of lifetimes, as well as enrollments, as well as you can then select a specific year in terms of qualification as well, which would then bring up that specific figures for you. And it's broken down into entry level, continuous education. That is as per the S&P. So again, just playing with the actual graphs at the moment and what all the info is we are going to get through. The profile section largely remains unchanged. Again, guys, the photo is there as just because it's on the test server. Again, you're allowed to edit it, but basically it lists your entire profile as per core. Guys, I think it's maybe important to note, especially with this, with the audience we've got, important to note that we do read the data off core. So a lot of people are surprised that it's, they see something in the app and they don't realize that, you need to go fix it in core, especially if it's on your profile. You can fix it via the app, but it reads off one database. In terms of certifications, it lists your certifications, the digital certification cards. You will see that we have dropped off the actual QR codes. Reason for that is nobody really scans a QR code, obviously, on a digital app. We are going to create a flip side of the card as well for the actual certification as well, as soon as we upload the images. It lists that. Any certification, which I don't have an example of, but any certification at the moment that does expire will have a expired stamp across the actual card. So if you've got a certification that expires, typical example would be first aid instructors that could expire. It would have a expired across the card as well. Courses, this would be your own active and completed courses. Okay, so you can now directly from the app launch the e-learning as well and complete the e-learning. It is important to note that would only be available if there is an actual connection to the internet. If there's no connection to the internet, you would not be able to launch the e-learning. It would be grayed out and it will give you a message that you need an actual connection for that. Also, while we're at this, just to, again, for the audience, important for you guys to note, if you stay logged into the app you will have access to all your certification cards offline as well. Okay. The moment you log out, unfortunately, then you will not. So it is advisable to advise your students to just stay logged into the app. In terms of the dive locator, same as per previously, but you can search for various dive professionals per designation as well. Again, we're going to clean this up with a little bit prettier pictures and not just use the icons. Again, guys, in terms of just performance-wise, again, just note this is the test server. It will be a lot faster actually on the actual production server. In terms of the dive tools, this will be limited. Now, this is a thing we are fixing at the moment. This will, based on your certification, you'll have access to recreational dive tools, free diving dive tools, PSD dive tools, gas blending dive tools, technical dive tools, the various works. In terms of the recreational ones, we give it a second. Most of you guys have already seen this. It will now be available irrespective of your actual certification level. This will be all available all the time.
Just the two basic ones for because it was a request for instructors to be able to teach their students how to use it for both mitigation and liability as well as teaching.
In terms of the planner, you guys have all seen it. Change to this would be is at the end you would be able to email this out. Again, the dive tables is still available. The actual images, which you can pinch and zoom and flip around as you see fit, as well as the automated dive tables, which I'm sure most of you guys have played around a little bit with already. But you can also important just to note, I don't know if a lot of you guys know this, but you can, instead of just using the sliders, you can actually click on the little tab there as well. And it does allow you to enter the value as well if you find the sliders a little difficult to operate. Now, the dive log section at the moment, one of the enhancements we are going to bring in is the ability to scan a QR code and copy it across, as well as sign the actual log. The logic has already been done, but yeah, we need to pass it just to Chris to implement. Our side, the credential card remains the same under membership. In terms of the membership resources, you'll see this now links directly to, this is now completely dynamic, what we call this links directly to what the folder structure is that's controlled by NAUI HQ. And we can basically expand on this. Once we release the multi-language, which is in the pipeline, you would then have access to that specific. So if you've got a SMP that's available in Spanish and your preferential language is Spanish, it will bring up just the Spanish side of it. If your preferential language is not catered for, it will then revert back to the English version as well.
Hey, Quentin, go back to that and go to the forms. And then go to the medical forms. Okay, because we got those medical forms in, I believe right now, 21 different languages. So we need to figure out where that link to get those all loaded up on here too.
I think Chris will know. It's pretty much going to be a copy and paste across for Chris. But yeah,
Okay.
Okay, so we build this dynamically from a folder structure on that side. So if it's copied in there, it will update automatically. In terms of students, it's now going to list all your enrolled and certified students as well. It does list all of them. It's alphabetical at the moment. You can then also search for a student if you've actually got a specific student that you want to search for as well. In terms of activation codes, it also lists all activation codes bought by yourself, as well as who activated it and if it has been activated. So if you're searching for a specific code, let's say nitrox, you can see there's one not activated that you can still use, and then there's one that's been activated and who it's been activated by. You can also search here for a specific student should they have lost their code and want to actually quickly gain access to their code. Once you go to messages as well, you've now got the ability to message students directly from the app. It's got the welcome message there as well. This is that message that you will realize that's the dynamic message that comes via core. We've just moved it to the message center, which we will refer to now going forward as the message center. It's a system message, so this would always be here instead of on the main screen. If you write a message, you can now send a message to any student linked to yourself. If the student is not linked to you, you cannot send a message to that specific student for obvious reasons, privacy, all the rest. So, but if a student, as soon as they link to you, you can send a message to that specific student. Okay, you can send it either via email or a message directly. When we say message, that will come to the message center in core as well as in the app. And in
Quentin, a question on that. If I'm affiliated with a store and I have instructors that work for the store, can the store owner who has those instructors that are affiliated to his store send an email or a text out to each of those individual students underneath that instructor? Or is it only the store can send emails out?
In short, yes. There's a little tweak we need to do, but it's quite easy to do. So yeah, we can do that. So we can then do it that it's flagged from the affiliate instead of from the instructor specifically as well.
The reason I'm thinking is if the instructor gets sick or something like that, and the different instructors taking that group out, the store can email those students and stuff and let them know, or the dive boat broke down, don't go or whatever.
I think it also depends on your login. The affiliate needs to log in as affiliate versus as an instructor to get that access.
Yeah, 100%. But they will log in as affiliate. But yes, we'll just flag it differently. I think that's a valid point. At the moment, it comes from the instructor. There's a bit of a tweak we would need to do, but it's not we can have that in by the launch. And that's pretty much the quick rundown of the demo that went a little bit faster than kind of expected. I think a very prevalent question we had previously, so I'll just preempt it. When is the app going to be released? We're looking at the next 2 to 3 weeks.
If you're traveling to an area where there's no internet, can I still show my digital cards?
As long as you don't physically click on your profile picture, as done there now on screen, and hit log out, you will have access to it, even if it's closed down and you open it up again. Okay. But as soon as you hit log out, you would require internet connection because it's going to check for new certifications.
Okay, one person's asking, why can't I log in using an affiliate account in the apps?
You will be able to log in with affiliate accounts on this release once it's released in the next 2 to 3 weeks. It was specifically a requirement on the initial release not to have affiliate logins. The reason for that was there was various stuff we needed to resolve in terms of instructors being linked to affiliates and. So at that stage, there was still a bunch of stuff happening on the affiliate side, which we couldn't cater for at that stage, but it will be available in the next 2 to 3 weeks.
And we have a question from our team and member services, and they were asking about the NES codes. And the question there is, will the activation codes be checked in core?
So no, not at this stage. Chris will put it in the development pipeline and they will look at it going forward, but not at this stage.
I know a few of the questions that came up the other day I can throw back out in case it just prompts some other questions. One of the questions that people had asked was with regards to the language. And I know we've touched on it already, but it's certainly worth talking again. So how does the language get chosen, Quentin?
So the language is your preferential option in core at the moment. We pick that up via the profile that comes through. We will give you the ability in the app to switch your preferential language once we do go multi-language. At this stage, there's quite a bit of translation that needs to happen. So we've not turned on that feature, but it's definitely something in the pipeline. It's already actually been catered for. But at this stage, we're not turning on the multilingual function just as of yet. So the reason for that is the app will be all in that specific language, but all the dynamic content that comes through will still be English until we get that translated.
And that would relate to as well as to the e-learning, correct? because
The
this is a
e-learning,
gateway to learning.
yeah, but the e-learning at this stage, whatever they chose to open the e-learning up as, so if they were to choose to do the e-learning, let's say in Portuguese or Spanish, once they launch it from the app, it will still be in Spanish or in, so the e-learning is unaffected by that. Any plan to enable training videos to be logged and verified in the app?
Well, the training videos right now, no. As far as the training department and how that works, we'd have a whole different set of rules on that. As far as marketing tools or other NAUI TV items, there's the public ones, there'll be private ones, and anything after login would be the private, anything before that would be. And the ability to have the videos could be there, yes, but at this point, they're not on the list yet. One of the other things that came out the other day too, and it was quite exciting to hear about it, is that once we teach the student how to use the dive planner, they not only can they do their dive planning, but they can email or print the dive plan out. So whether they printed it and handed it to the instructor for verification, or whether they emailed it to the instructor, you could then put it in a file, and that mitigates any liability, because you know they can't say, well, I didn't know about dive planning. Could, you know, if they got into an incident 2 dives or 10 dives down the road or whatever, you have the proof that they did know how to do proper dive planning, and they did know how to do it on the app, because you have a copy of their personal dive plan. There was one that I answered manually, but I want to bring it up so people do know. Before you log in, all that information that's out there is available to anybody, whether they have an account or not. That includes the NAUI Talks or the Fort Blue video or the privacy policies or any of those kind of things. Things that are secure for members only would be only showing up post login. So just clarify that one for one of, so anything that's in the front is available to the general public. When people are logging in, how does that trigger the different language for them?
Okay, so we actually already get the preferred language, and the app specifically has got catering for changing the actual headings in the app to the multi-language. At the moment, we still need to translate just the stuff we get dynamically. So yeah, we'll be releasing step by step the languages in that regard.
So that'll be very exciting. That also ties into when people are seeing the resources that are available. One is marketing and other resources that'll be available. They are available on the core site. We're being updated, but they'll be available through the app as well, correct?
That would be correct. If it's
it's a good point.
Resources, that's correct.
So it's a good point to remind people, send in your items and we can get whatever that language is, whether we can help you create a piece or whether you already have a piece, we get it in there, that it's available to you and to people in your area. We have a question here. I think it's probably better for Chris to answer. And it is with regards to the activation codes. They're available on the app. We can see them. Will that be available on the core website as well?
That is on our list of things to tackle. So yeah, there will be a separate page in Manage and Certify that will show all activation codes associated with you.
Is there a plan later to have the store or certifying agency linked to the app? I think that was part of what we were discussing before, as far as the instructor is currently linked to their students in the app, but the affiliate will be. And that's what Quentin was working on. Can you explain that a little bit differently?
At this stage, I just the actual certifying via the app, that was scheduled for kind of a next looking at it round. So I think Chris is aware of that, and yeah, we're kind of looking at that at the moment. But yeah, there's 1 or 2 hurdles we do need to jump. There's a question from Carlos, though all the features work on a tablet. It should. If you've got any problems, you can let us know the version and stuff of the tablet, but I mean, it should. Can you create and activate a free NAUI account from a cellular phone? Yes, you can. That's actually already available on the current version that's live. E-learning will be displayed based on app preference or by choice. I'm not exactly.
No, I'm seeing it perhaps it. And if I'm wrong, please let me know, Roberto. But I believe what he's saying is you have to do it from one or the other. And the answer, if I'm not mistaken, is you can register from, say, your laptop, but do work on your app and go back and forth till you finish your course, correct? When it comes to the e-learning, and your preference of the app, the application, whether you go to e-learning through the app, or if you go in through the website through your computer, either way, you're ending up the same location. So a student can register on one, do the work on another, and then go back and forth until they're finished the course. So it doesn't really matter how they get to the e-learning. It's all connected. The app and their login for core are all the same.
Is there a way that you can download the app onto your desktop to be able to use the app on your desktop?
We can do a desktop version. That is possible. Yeah, we can definitely, but again, it's up to Chris. I think, I think if you put it on there's going to be too much scripting on the back end side to have it on a web kind of browser. So I would rather package it in a desktop version. That's my opinion.
We can discuss how to solve it.
All right. That just sort of popped in my mind about that because we have all the tools and different things here. If that's something that you could do, because I know there's a couple apps I use is on my desktop and I also use it on my cell phone, and it's pretty handy.
Does going to the updated with the student's workbook and the exam for the open water, that is now difference makes. He's just saying there's a misalignment between the questions in the actual exams at the moment versus the new tables. I do think the training department is working on that. So yeah, I think they are on that.
Chris can jump in on that, but I know for a fact that they are working on it. So yes, as we migrate over and get everything sorted out and all the translations are taking place, that's absolutely the case.
You have to use the internet to do the e-learning. It's not where you can download the e-learning to your phone, do a bunch of exams or whatever, like subchapter exams, and then log back into the internet once you get it. It'll automatically populate back to core. Is that correct?
That is correct. But there is something I've been checking on the LMS. I want to specifically look at if we can batch it. So what would then happen is you would be able to get that module on the phone, complete it, and then upload at a stage, but not at this stage. At this stage, you need internet connection.
It's answering the sequence-wise. Does the user have to initially launch the e-learning from the desktop to select their language?
So if it's a question at this stage, we haven't catered for them to select the language because we're just launching it, but we can cater for that. So yeah,
that's a good question because if
agreed.
I'm doing e-learning, this might be a multiple different person. It might be a Chris Shannon or Chris Greco or Quentin answer or all the above. If I log into my e-learning, I select my language. If we have that language uploaded in Talent LMS, it should show that e-learning in their language all the way through, correct?
Yes.
It will. Yeah.
So for example, if in the Middle East they have it, and I know they're working on the Arabic right now because we have some issues and stuff with the e-learning, but once that Arabic is uploaded in Talent LMS, they should be able to read it and complete the e-learning in Arabic on the app. So I'm getting lots of yes head shakes.
Yeah, again, they're working in Talent LMS. So however the course that they're launching is configured, that's the way they'll see it.
Yeah, and it's just like with Roberto and Antonio in Italy, for example. I know they've got the Italian version uploaded and stuff in Talent LMS. So they should be able, with this new version of the app, their students be able to go in there and basically do e-learning on their phone and stuff in Italian.
Can we book an event within the app on the dive location, also present in the app, and use it for the agenda booking info platform? At the moment, you can submit, and we've limited to exactly as in core leadership courses. So you can submit leadership courses. It goes to pending. It needs to be approved by the various service centers or the people that approves it, and then it will appear. The biggest thing we're trying to do there is get costing, just review the wording, and there's no costing in there. But we've limited to at this stage to leadership courses.
When can we test it? What I'm thinking, Quentin and Chris, what we can do is once we get ready to launch this and then we launch it, and then we check to make sure it's all up on Apple and Android store, that we let all the reps know first, along with our sales teams and stuff, inside sales in the Americas. And basically they can get on it and play with it and stuff and everything else before we really announce it out to the general membership. And then that way everybody gets a chance to sort of play around with it, and we can test it and stress it a little bit, before we really go live with it, as far as announcing it.
Yeah, Rick, what we can also do is when we release it to the stores, there's an option for us to delay sort of the notification, automatic notification in the stores up to about a week. So nobody it would be in the store. So if somebody goes and checks, it would be there, but they won't get a notification saying there's a new version available. And I changed the language during the course. I think that's just for Chris Shannon, but I think it's no I don't think you can.
Now, the only way they could do that is if they call up customer service. I remember we've had this problem. I don't remember if it was down LMS or if it was something else.
It's a process to get it changed. So it's not automatic. It's very manual. So just be aware that that's a case by case basis.
Yeah. So they need to choose wisely the first time.
Changing the language on the course has no correlation after you've started the course. You can change it on the app. If you happen to be, say it's Italian, but you want to do the course in English, you have to choose the English in the beginning. If not, it's very awkward to change it. But you choose that when you sign up for the course. Correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, but
no, when each course is in a specific language, so when you pick that language, you're associated with that specific course. So the English course in Talent LMS is not converted to Italian. We have an English version and an Italian version.
Nico's question, how soon can we get this recording in hand? I think that's up to Rick. So
we're going to probably go through it and clean it up a little bit. I think that's the thought process, correct, Bill? And then what we'll do is we'll get that out to all the reps, basically all the people on this call, and the one that we're going to have on Friday with Asia. And if some of you here want to basically get on that call, I sent those notifications out. Just ping me, let me know you want to get on that call also, and then I will send the link to you. That's going to be at 8:30 Eastern time this Friday. So that way you guys can look at this again. We'll also record that one also. After we get both of them recorded, that's when we'll go back, clean them up, add other questions and stuff that was relevant questions to one of these recordings and stuff, and then that way we can send it out to everybody. We'll send it out to all of the people on these two calls first, and then we'll post it up on the NAUI TV.
And then a question from Roberto, is there a list of compatible devices? It should work on any mobile device with a operating system of about the last 5 years and newer.
Is this the same text and the same films in all languages? Why can't we change during the course? It's a software issue during the course. It's not a matter of languages. It's just I don't know if you can explain that better, Chris, but
again, once the language is set, we've recorded that in the database, and you've been associated with that language in that course. So again, it's a manual process if we need to switch languages. There's a number of records that are updated based on language, based on the platform that they're being sent to, and the information that we get back from those platforms.
But if somebody does make a mistake, you just got to contact member services and they can help that. But we don't want to be doing all the time because it's some big hoop jumping. But you certainly don't want to leave a student stranded. If they make a mistake, it's a mistake. Fix it.
Yeah, absolutely. We do it a number of times, but we don't want to get 1,000 calls that we need to switch.
All right, guys. Well, we appreciate your time. Hopefully this will give you some insights on the app and some of the features coming out, and keep plugging away out there. Hopefully we'll have a good year this year.